Hello and welcome to Mystery Science. I am Mr. E and today I'm going to be taking you through radioactivity. This forms part of the Edexcel syllabus. For Edexcel, this is CP6. That's the sixth unit in the physics section of the Combined Sciences. This will also do you well for the separate sciences. I'm going to be following along the Edexcel course, and I will add supplementary videos throughout the course to update those on AQA and OCR as well. So this is a very quick overview of what you will find in this playlist. This is a simple playlist introductory video. In this playlist, we're going to be looking at radioactivity. Now let's have a look at the kind of thing you've already learned. At Key Stage 3, you would have learned the following things. You're going to have learned about the particle model of matter, and in the very first video we're going to have a very quick recap of that, so don't worry if you've forgotten anything. And hopefully you'll also remember that atoms contain very tiny charged particles called electrons, and you may even remember that these electrons buzz around the outside of the atom. We're going to look at how that was discovered and what that means in terms of the physics. In this section, you are going to learn the following things. You're going to learn how particles in the atom are arranged, where you'll find each individual subatomic particle and what they will do. We're going to learn how to represent atoms as symbols. This is quite important. We don't want to be messing around, spending our time drawing atoms all the time. We actually want to make quick, rough and ready symbols so that everybody knows what we're talking about. We're also going to learn different types of radiation and how they can affect the world around them. We're also going to look at background radiation. Yes, even the radiation in the room wherever you're sat now. If you were to all of a sudden to pull out a Geiger-Müller tube or a Geiger counter, as you might know them, you will find that it's going to be counting something some of you might not expect when there's no radioactive sources around. But really, in everyday life, there are radioactive sources all around us, and we're going to look specifically at those, what they are, and what we can do about it. Finally, we're going to look about the dangers of radiation. Should we be worried about background radiation? Should we be worried about a whopping great nuclear power station sat next to us? Or should we be worried if we're sat on top of a uranium mine? Through this playlist, I'm going to break down my videos into the following sections. We're going to start with atomic models. We're then going to look at isotopes and what that means. We're going to look at the electrons and their orbits and how that affects the chemistry of an atom. And we're going to look at background radiation. Then we're going to look at different types of radiation. We're then going to pause for a little revision of that section. Those of you who are working through the lockdown material for the college that I work at will then have a little mastery quiz. Those of you watching later or completely separately will not have a mastery quiz. Well done you, but I might ask you some questions later anyway. After that little revision, we're going to then carry on with the rest of the course, and we're going to look at radioactive decay. How do atoms form this radiation? What's it all about? Then we're going to look at a thing called half-life and what that's all about, and then we're going to break down the dangers of radioactivity and what the difference between a high half-life and a low half-life means in terms of how dangerous the nuclear source is. We're then going to have a revision of that little section specifically for the people who are about to sit a mastery quiz for that section, and then I'm going to do a revision video including some exam questions for all of CP6. Alright, so first up in this playlist will be the model of the atom. Now you will notice that as you watch this, that is going to cross over with some of the chemistry, but don't worry, I'm not going to go into full detail because that you'll find in the chemistry section. But what I am going to do is I'm going to talk to you about how important the atoms are in terms of the physics, the nucleus of the atom, which is much more important than the electrons, unless you're a chemist, in which case you're doing wet physics in a jar. So join me on this little quest to discover about radioactivity and radiation. Click this link for the next video up or have a look at the playlist itself. Also, feel free, if you want to take a little break, to watch me open some Pokemon packs. See you soon. Stay safe.